my name's Shaun, aka the Yeti Polar Bear, and these are tech tips. This is today's tech tip, and we're going to be mounting a number plate using some kind of fancy zip ties. The zip ties I use they're available in any hardware store that I've found. They're actually special electrical ones that are called mounting zip ties. They have a little 5mm hole in one end just underneath the clasp there. And what I do to make these ones any sort of use for me is I actually grab my little bolts that I'm using, which these happen to be Yeti Cycles pivot bolts or shock bolts, and use the bolt, and the bolt just cuts its own thread in the plastic zip tie. So with your zip tie, you can mount it up or down, it doesn't really matter, it just depends where you put the hole on the number plate and where you wanted to have the number plate sitting. I always run the zip ties so that the hole is below the handlebar. It just seems to suit our purpose a little better. Pretty simple zip ties, everyone knows how to use them. So wrap it around the bar loosely, and with our Renthal handlebars I can use the markings on the top of the handlebar, which is to show where the handlebar is in relation to the stem, and actually use the straight edge on the edge of that marking system to mount my zip ties right up against that. So both sides, and they're going to be exactly the same both sides. They're going to be tight, but they're also going to be able to rotate a little bit, and that's pretty important because if you do crash, the number plate does need to twist a little bit, and it also needs to settle into place. So once we've got them in place, I can clip the edges off using a good set of side cutters, and they'll be ready to put the plate on. So we're using this straight edge reference point that Renthal put in their bars for us to align the stem nicely. But I just use the edge of that for the edge of the zip tie, and then you lock it down as tight as it can go. Flush cut there and there. And now we are ready to mount our number plate. We're going to mark where we need to put our holes in the back of the number plate. So to get it in the right place, you can get it pretty square using the top of the number plate and top of the stem. Bear in mind if you have a Garmin or a Stages power meter or something on there, you might want to take that into account. Find your hole and just put a simple little mark. Only needs to be on one side, because once we make that hole, we can simply fold the number plate in half and mirror the hole on the other side. And because the zip ties are in the same place on the handlebar, they'll be in the same place, and the holes will be in the same place on the number plate. So we've got our single hole marked out from when we were on the bike there. Pretty simple. Try not to use anything special underneath, it'll kill tiles if you hit it down on tiles. And just one swift hit with a good hole punch, and you got one big hole there. As I was saying earlier, if you just simply fold the number plate in half, you can mark yourself another hole, and that's going to be pretty much mirror image to what was on the plate before. And now we have two pretty perfect holes there. Next part's pretty simple. You've already cut the thread in the plastic, you've already mounted the zip ties, you've got the holes in the number plate. Simply put your bolts through and start mounting away. Sometimes use spacers like washers across the back of it as well if you need to space it out from the handlebars or computer or something on the back there. And from there you can just level it up. If you like it aero, you can squeeze that together and make it nice little bent like that, because we're not allowed to cut number plates in EWS, so aero's everything. And generally speaking, it conforms pretty comfortably with the cable routing on any sort of bars, but if need to, you can move it up or down, or twist it up or down if you need to. So after you're done with your race and you want to keep your number plate or put it on the wall, obviously unbolt your number plate, keep the bolts aside or thread them back into the zip ties. And if you want to keep them on the bike, you can simply just rotate them back around, and you can barely see them from the front. They're unobtrusive, they don't get in the way for any reason, so you can leave them on for another race next time.